Welcome to the Recruitment Founders Podcast, the place to kickstart your journey to running a successful recruitment business. In each episode, you'll get knowledge, tips, and real-life stories to help you take your business from startup to whatever you want it to be. At Recruitment Founders Club, we'll show you how to follow a proven path to success, tap into a network of top-notch mentors, and join a community that thrives on collaboration and shared wins. You run the business, and we make sure you succeed.
So, Mr. Elton, the RFC podcast is back in town.
Yeah, another episode.
Yeah, me and you not rambling together, just the two of us. We've got an extra special guest, haven't we?
Extra special
Superstar guest, I'd say.
Indeed.
Yeah, she might not call herself that, but she is.
Very humble.
Should we get her involved? Let's introduce her. Scarlett Allen-Horton, and welcome to the RFC pod.
Hello, I was looking around. I was like, who is it?
Who is this person? How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to be here. Happy to be with you both.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on our pod.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's doing pods, aren't they?
Oh, not like this.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
Not like this.
Not with the dodgy lighting.
No. the lighting's good.
Yeah.
The setup's good. Two of my most favourite people as well.
I bet you say that to all the guys.
I definitely don't. And most highly respected as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's the truth.
And it's vice versa.
That's the truth.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's reciprocated.
It's all right. I wasn't given to receive. It's all right.
Yeah.
I was just, it's being honest.
Yeah, we've all known each other for quite a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you two work together at?
No, we were like passing ships, really, but we've met. You're the conduit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
you came and went, and then you came. Oh yeah, you came a bit later, didn't you?
Yeah, I came after because we definitely didn't meet.
No, we didn't.
But I always refer to you when I'm speaking. My first boss in recruitment, and I said, and he looked like he'd stepped out of a Hugo Boss advert. And I do this, but you did. Three-piece suit, three-piece suit.
Chunky knot.
Oh, I've never seen anything like it. It was a Hugo Boss advert, and I thought, whatever's going on here, I need to work here and I need to work for him. And that was it.
Oh wow, the suit did it. Yeah,
I
was pretty dapper back in the day. I had a lot of suits. Do you know when I set Hannison Green up and I left the corporate world? I gave them all to charity.
Did you?
Almost all my suits, all my ties. Just kept my wedding suit.
How did that feel? Because that was a big part of your
amazing.
identity, right? And I think that shows how, like, I don't know, like how the kind of the culture of the workplace has evolved as well in that time.
Massively evolved,
you know?
but you know, it was expected. You had to wear a suit, didn't you?
Yeah,
in the early days, you couldn't. I remember Wers, my boss. Obviously, you guys both know him well. Getting absolutely bollocked by the chief operating officer for not having his top button done up.
Yeah,
in a meeting, in a senior manager meeting, and that was the culture.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can remember a lot of tension in that era as well. So there's a lot of tension between the male and the female. Because we had really diverse workforce in that business, in fairness, I thought. You know, certainly when I worked there anyway, I can't. But there was a lot of tension when it got hot because the women were able to dress within the strict dress code in a more comfortable way in an office that had no aircon.
Yeah.
Whereas we had to be
we had to bake,
full suit.
Yeah.
And just baking.
What was it with that office, right? I think, how many offices?
Isn't it windows?
Three offices, right? I worked
Manchester
at.
was the hottest.
But the three in Birmingham, I worked in three offices at Huxley in Birmingham, and we couldn't get it right in any one of them. We paid a fortune for these buildings. But in the summer, it was either you were like in an igloo, freezing, like shaking.
Or boiling hot.
Yeah, or like it was 30, 35 degrees.
Yeah. But you know what? I loved that because you know what it showed me going in, and I'd come from a completely different culture. I'd come from telecommunications, and actually the last workplace I'd left was like very liberal, big, well-known business, and they'd actually gone to just dress down.
Yeah.
So I'd come from that into this, and I love fashion. I love like professional fashion and stuff as well. And I have to say, it just echoed standards for me. Yeah. And I know things have moved on, and I understand that. But I feel like from the shoe polish out, and I know it's old school recruitment I'm talking about to a degree, you know, to the knots in the ties, to the how we execute and how we do things. It was just standards and pride, I loved it.
Funny,
you know,
it's funny for me because like I was a bit of a toe rag when I was like 14, 15, 16.
You was a toe rag?
Got involved in started playing golf, and the golf club was like the strictest place for dress code I'd ever been in my life. But there's also a ramification. So if my teacher told me off at school, I didn't really care. Whereas if I got in trouble at the golf club, my dad was a member, my brother was a member, it was an impact on them. So then when I came out of that and then into a professional environment where I'd got to wear X, Y, and Z, and your suit had got to look like this, your shirt had got to look like this, it worked for me to the point where then when we used to have dress down days, I always used to feel weird dressing down because I didn't feel like I'd be
productive, like a serious.
I get that. I don't think I'm a like overly straight laced sort of like you know, whatever. But it was weird. And even that carried on when I left S3 as well. And the dress code was much more relaxed. But I still went to work for a good few years, done up, like to the nines.
Me too.
Because that was my, like, get up in the morning, put my suit on. All right, I'm going to work now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that.
It's mad, isn't it, where it's been and where it is now?
Yeah.
Like,
and it is crazy.
Like I don't own a suit now apart from my wedding one.
That is unbelievable.
I haven't wore a pair of shoes in probably years.
Really?
Yeah, I've got rid of all of my shoes because I'm just like, I want to wear what I want to wear now.
Yeah.
I've had all those years of like shaving every single day, and if you had one day of not shaving, where's it spotted?
That is
you
it.
could barely see it.
I've remembered because I remember there being a bit of uproar once. Like people wanted to grow beards.
If you wanted to grow a beard, you had to book annual leave.
Yeah, so you could get past the stubble phase.
You had to get past the stubble phase.
I mean, that is unbelievable.
Well, you had to have 2 weeks off. You know,
but it is mad where it is now. I mean, I go to like work conferences or I'll meet clients for the first time. I'm rocking up in trainers. I don't care, and I'm like, if you don't like it, then.
But it's funny, Miriam even sort of questioned, that's my wife, by the way, but yeah, she questioned me about 2 or 3 months ago. I coach football outside of work, as you know, and like, I love doing that. I've got this meeting put in my diary with Chief People Officer for a big FTSE 100 client of ours, and I'd not met her before, but I'd worked with 2 or 3 of the exec, and I was stressing because I felt like I got to say yes to this meeting, but I'd already said yes to coaching kids. I was doing, it wasn't even the teams I manage, it was just helping the club out. And I said to Miriam, I said, well, I'll do it in the clubhouse. I'll have the office off the chairman, but I'll be in my football gear. And she was like, that. And I was like, well, yeah, but that's who I am. And actually, like, her PA's asked me, it's weird because 10 years ago, I'd have never thought like this. Whereas I found it quite empowering. I was so comfortable with the fact that, hang on, your PA's asked me to flex my diary for you. And I'm really happy to do that, but I'm going to be in my coaching kit. So she's come on the call. There's a massive like English rose with Sutton United next to her and my initials. And she said to me, "Oh, is this the branded call?" But she was really cool with it. Do you know what? And actually, I've gone on to work with her, and like she knows what I do. She always asks me about the kids' football and. That's part, and we're going to talk about authenticity. And
that's the thing, isn't it? We're talking about authenticity, right? I mean, rocking up to conferences in trainers, right? It's who you are, and projecting the real version of yourself. So look, we're going to get into that, aren't we? Look, we're all cut from the S3 cloth, aren't we?
We are. Proudly.
Yeah, very proudly. And what I would say is, I said this when we were talking about the very first pod that we did, and we spoke about our journeys into recruitment and how you and I met each other. I've got 2 people here on the table next to me, and I've said this to you before. I've said it to you before. All the people I hired in those S3 years, all of the trainee recruiters, honestly, it was like a production line. It was like, get them in, and like chuck them in at the deep end, and 60% would fall off a cliff within 6 months, and you just churn them. But you 2 were the 2 that I interviewed and hired. That at the moment I hired you, I was like, man, I hope, I'll keep these people for as long as possible. But I remember when you both decided to leave, I would have said this to you at the time, I really hope that our paths would cross again in the future. You're the only 2 people really that really stuck with me, that I wanted to desperately hire because you just had that X factor. But then when you left, and with all the will in the world, when you part companies on a professional level, you might intend to keep in touch, don't you? We said it, you and I said it, we said it, didn't we?
100%.
You don't, do you? Your life just moves on.
Busy,
so the fact now that we've come a full circle, and obviously you and I are working together a lot, and you're part of RFC as well.
It's one of my proudest professional achievements. I know that sounds dramatic, but I really, really mean it. It's
I'm
one
incredibly
of my proudest,
proud of it. It's amazing.
It's funny because you said to me, I'm going back a good probably 8, 9 years ago now, when we sort of reconnected. And you said to me, I had 2 superstars that worked for me, and you were one. And I always found that like really hard to like process. Who me? But anyway, the other one was Scarlett, and I was always thinking, gotta meet this Scarlett. Can't wait to meet. And then when I met you, like it was like me and you just instantly got on, and it was like I understood now like why, because me and you have always got on. And don't get me wrong, that's not always been a bed of roses, but the way we get on is because we can have every type of conversation, and you just properly mates.
We just get each other, don't we?
Got on with you, and then you've gone on to, we've met to talk about our own businesses, our own challenges. We've been really open, and
I've given great advice to me as well.
And vice versa. I've got a great relationship with Scarlett now that's born off the back of that, and so we're all very proud of those routes. But it's interesting how you grow and you develop, from there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember when I hired you. Were you purposefully looking to get into recruitment?
Yeah, so
you were. You two might be the only two people in the recruitment industry that purposely chose to get into recruitment.
But it was all because I needed to earn more money.
Yeah,
it was literally that.
Was it Vodafone you were?
No, I worked at Virgin.
Virgin, of course.
Yeah, I worked at Virgin, and we'd done like 3 different takeovers. It'd been like Telewest, it'd been something else with something else. And when I started that job, I'm living in this bedsit with no heating, opening the oven, sitting in front of the oven, like writing applications down. So it was so bloody cold. Like that was what I'd come from. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then the reason, can I be really open? Is it too open? I'm always too open.
Please, yeah.
The reason was I was working at Virgin, really doing really well there. I'd been like the first one at 19 to get this secondment into a managerial role. I took over this team of 15 women, all part-time, that were all older than me, way more experienced than me. Oh man, it was I tell you what, and I still speak to a lot of them now, fantastic, like real kind of cut your knees kind of situation into leadership. It was hardcore, and we went on to be the most successful team in this effectively call centre. And then what they said, they was like, we want to hire more people like you. So we've got this recruitment team. I'm like, a what team? I think I must have applied to them. That's how I got in there. And they were like, we want to do these assessments on you. So I started to meet the recruitment team and learn about this thing called recruitment. And that's how. And then I was like, I think externally you can earn more money. And what happened was I had my 2 children at that point. And I was only, I think, about 24. And their dad had gotten into trouble and he'd gone to prison. Yeah. And so I was on my own with 2 children, and I thought I was working 30 hours, most successful team, and I thought I've got to work full time, I've got to earn more money because I've got the girls. That's it. And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go external recruitment. And I had this headhunter approach me. He was really good, actually, internal. And he was like, I've got this opportunity for you. So I was like, all right then. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I actually thought, people can't pay people for recruitment. This is ridiculous. Like, that's how naive I was, And I went into the offices, met you in your Hugo Boss suit, and thought, God damn, I need to be here because I've got to pay for my children. And that was literally it. So my motivation was like, I understood a bit about recruitment. I'd obviously done leadership. I'd done sales successfully and collections and stuff. But I was like, I've really got to be able to earn money because I've got these, I've got my daughters and I need to be able to feed them. And that was literally what it was born for. So the motivation levels were like, yeah. But I'd also had this really traumatic thing happen really recently, which I obviously wouldn't have ever shared in that environment, in a million years, for years, Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you started
and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Like, so grateful for that opportunity.
I think you started on 4.5 days a week, didn't you? Is that right?
No.
Weren't you the first person that we gave
no, that was
working to?
Yeah, but that was after years.
Oh, was it?
That was a process in itself. Do you know what I mean?
I'm recalling it differently.
But maybe after that, though, maybe there were other people, and how wonderful if that was the case. But no, I was definitely full time. I definitely remember leaving the house at 7, coming home at 7, and thinking, I want to do a school run. But this was
getting clapped out of the office at 7, like because
you left early. Just like ridiculous hours. Yeah, but you know what? It's really instilled. I was always a really hard worker anyway, but it really further instilled.
Back to those standards you were saying, it was real high professional standards,
high performance standards. It's high performance. I think we've all done sports at different levels and things like that as well. It's high performance standards, and it does take that grit, hard work. Like, it does. I still stand by that.
And there's a lot.
So I'm so
from
grateful
that
for
world. There's a lot from that era of the industry that I'm glad we've moved beyond. Right, but I'm quite proud to say I'm forged in the fire of that, because what I deem to be hard work, what I deem to be resilience, and all these other qualities, right? I think the top performers from that era have got by the bucket load.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And they all, contrary to the general vision of view of recruitment, they're all ethical, good people as well. All the people that have given the industry a bad name were not forged in that fire, or they didn't last.
And we've talked about it in the previous pod. If you look at the sheer number of people that have come out of that S3 fire,
that's amazing.
That have gone on to become successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
There's a lot, isn't
Well,
there?
we had it when we went to the Recruitment Expo. You know, it's we're bumping into like ex-colleagues, right? And you look at the name badge and they're CEO this, MD that, you know, founder this, founder that. You know, there's no, and I think it does come from those standards. And you know, we laugh. I mean, the not being able to grow a beard at work thing is probably one of the funniest.
But you can survive in it or you don't, and we saw that as well, of course, and that's all right. You know what I mean? But the ones that do, you have got that's something. There's some kind of resilience, there's some kind of performance. You wouldn't be able to maintain being in this industry if not. Being totally honest with you, you just wouldn't. And I think it is that bit of X factor, you know. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of today, I think we're going to talk about sort of authenticity and what that means, because it's quite a buzzword.
It is a buzzword, but vulnerability, being genuine, authenticity. But it's important, though, isn't it? It's an important topic.
And for the listeners that don't know, you're one of our board advisors at RFC.
Very proud. Thank you.
You know, we're delighted to have you on that journey, and you know what a value add you've been to the founders and the community and to us. So a lot of our pod explores, you know, what it takes to launch your own recruitment business, what it takes to sustain that recruitment business, which I'm still listening and learning and adapting to on a quarterly basis, right? But I think in terms of, we talk about authenticity, it's very much a zeitgeist term that's being thrown around. But what does that mean to you, and what does that mean to you relative to, you know, your business and through the lens of RFC?
Yeah, I think that I hope anyway, that I've always been, you know, a genuine person. So kind of what you see is who I am. I'm very like honest and, you know, however, can I say I've always stood in my full authenticity? Absolutely not. And probably because I didn't feel I was maybe able to do that, you know, or questioned if I'd fit in. So I feel like I've spent, bar the last probably 6 years, which is you know, I'm 39 now, so we're talking about that journey transitioning at 33. That's a lot. I've been working since I was 13 as a milkman's assistant. That's a long time trying to fit in. And I would definitely say what I equated success to be was fitting in. So being myself, having all them standards that we're talking about, but how do I kind of fit in to whatever environment I'm in? You know, and if you guys are maybe talking about sport that I don't really understand, you know, I'm not sure I would, but I might laugh along, you know, just trying to kind of fit in, because I wanted to, you know, be successful, and I wanted to be able to develop. And then I think what happened, and I don't know if it is some maturity that kicked in, but the thing that I'm so grateful for in terms of doing The Apprentice, which I actually don't talk about very often unless asked really, was when I did The Apprentice, my whole life was blown open. So I had no social media, no, this professional Scarlett is what I would say. I wouldn't even really say very much about my children. I wouldn't really show my children, nothing, just a very kind of professional sort of Scarlett. And then there was a whole home life. Well, what it did was it blowed up my whole life, and those worlds collided. And I was all of a sudden in a position where I thought, well, actually, I work for myself now, which, you know, there's not this big corporate brand that you're making sure that you're representing in the exact right way. I'm at a point in my life now where actually I'm kind of a bit fed up of trying to fit in. And actually, I've got so much more that I want to say and so much more I want to share. And I know there's loads of people that can actually relate to the things that I want to say and share, but I haven't been maybe brave and courageous enough to share them, you know, and just lived very kind of closed doors.
Do you think The Apprentice kind of forced that upon 100%. You a little bit? Was it the media digging some stuff out?
It was the media, 100%. And they kind of pre-warned me a little bit. But I was so back to this high performance. I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing opportunity. I can't quite believe I ever did it, really, to be honest. And I'm so grateful I did. I've learned so much about myself, about investment, about all sorts of things along the way. But the reality is, I literally woke up one day and there was papers and they were like, apprentice star and, you know, ex-partners in prison and children and this and that. And I was like, bloody hell. And then I thought, you know, again, back to, I've got to earn money for my children. Oh, my client's going to want to work with me. Oh my gosh. And actually, they absolutely did. And back to your kind of, you had your football.
So it made you real overnight, I suppose.
It made you real.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is like, you know, this, that, and all. I've worked in this industry for so long, and yeah, that's cool. But actually, you really want to know more about the person, and you want to dig a little deeper, you know, and what can we relate to? What can we connect on? And that's now I realise, like, being your most authentic self, and it's up to you how much you want to share. I'm not saying everyone should come out 1,000% their authentic self. It's whatever you want to share, right? But actually enables you to take down some of them barriers straight away and actually to connect with the person, whoever you're doing business with, whoever's working for you or with you. Yeah. That's massive as well, you know. And actually, do you want to connect here or do you want to connect here? Well, to be honest, I'm not a puddle kind of situation kind of girl. Like, I like to be talking in the lakes and the seas. Like, I really don't like little bit of chat. I'd actually rather not talk to you. So unless we're going to talk, I'm really serious. Unless we're going to talk about something proper and we're like quite like deep, I probably would like to conserve my energy. Yeah, I've really realised that about myself. You know. So
I think that's something as well. I mean, I'm quite similar to that. You know, a lot of my friends have been my friends like since I was a kid. Yeah, right? I don't have a lot of friends. Yeah, I'm all right with that. Yeah, and actually, like I've not got a lot of clients either. Yeah. I'm cool with that as well. Yeah, yeah. And one of the most cringy things I look back on my own career is when I moved from contingent into search. I actually didn't really understand the difference when I made that move. And then as I spent a couple of years in it and started then getting exposed to actually search is kind of like a new industry within an industry. It's not just, in my eyes, it wasn't just a method of payment. I started sort of meeting a few competitors or seeing what they were doing, and the rise of LinkedIn, I could go and see who I was competing against. And I'm sitting there thinking, I didn't go to private school. My dad was a coal miner. And these people all went to private school. Mm. They are now trading in search with the people they went to school with. And London became this centre of the universe, and got a Brummie accent. Yeah. And like how I look back on it, and the bit that cringes, I think there was a good few years actually where when I went on certain meetings, I'd catch myself talking in a different way. Yeah, I think so. Like using different, I forget what. I mean, that shows my education. Vocab. What is it? Intonation and stuff like that. Like using different phrases and copying the way they were speaking, because it made me feel like I was making them more comfortable. And I look at that and I think, don't get me wrong, I made money out of those relationships because that's frankly what we've been trained to do, right, and what we're good at. But do I have any of the relationships now through that phase of my career? No. Whereas the people that I've kept a contact through that whole career, they're people that have got to know me and I've got to know them, and I'm real around, and I'm, you know, now I mean, I'm going back, that was all pre-kids for me. Having kids was a big thing for me, and then I think COVID just made everybody instantly more familiar with each other because you had to communicate over a medium, you know, and Teams, and suddenly you were, you know, looking at what their kid had drew when they were
one of them's jumping on their lap.
And all of that.
You're immediately talking about kind of how COVID's affected them. You get this window into their world that you would never have ever had before. I think it was really powerful.
And I think that I think authenticity now, I mean, post-COVID era, if we can, we're beyond that now. But authenticity, I think, means something different now to what it meant before that. Certainly in a professional sense. Because I think when you're the story that you're telling there, and the era that would have been massive, you know, that would have been, you know, a real change, and you were really quite forward thinking in how to lean into that. Whereas I think, you know, authenticity now, I think a lot of people are quite comfortable in their own skin to a point. They just don't know how to use it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, to their advantage. Yeah, and to other people's advantages. Yeah,
absolutely.
Why do you think it's so important? Authenticity.
Because you want to know the real person, right? I want to know who I'm doing business with. I want to know who I'm working with. that's so much more important than, I think we're in this AI world at the moment, which is very, very fast evolving, right? I think the only thing we're probably going to have left is human connection.
Humanity. Yeah.
It's humanity, it's human connection. Like, that is the truth. You can feel the energy. We talked about, when I'm around you guys, I can feel my energy. We just talked about, PJ's energy in the previous podcast when we were just chatting away to him. Like, you can feel the different energy dynamics. That is something that no one or nothing can take away from you. And it's what makes us human, know, and that's the reality. So for me, I think that I'd lived such two separate lives for so long, and it had been very extreme. I was living in houses where we couldn't even open the curtains. It was very extreme household situation. So then to be able to talk now on stages or even on a podcast about elements of my life, both personal and professional, is extremely liberating. And it's probably for all the years that I've been very, very silenced. And there's a lot of people that can relate to that, And actually, I think I came from a household as well. And I love that you touched on the coal mining, and we all come from different kind of humble beginnings. And, we've got this. And I came from a household, my mum and aunt were brought up in care. So there wasn't really like any previous back history. There was no elders or anything like that. They're the oldest in the family. And then it's just lots of children, all of us children that were brought up together, all different nationalities, all different cultures, everything was happening together. But what my mum did so wonderfully, and my aunt, was they were super proud of who they were. So it doesn't matter, even now, mum's working in Asda and at the local school at the minute, she'd be very quick to tell them all about a story, all about this, all about that. And I watched my mum do it. She's a great storyteller, actually. And I watched it, and she was very, very proud, very intellectual and very, very proud. And I think now, why not? And if you don't like it, well, that's okay too, because not everyone's for you and you're not for everybody. Yeah. And I spent so long probably being sort of a bit of a people pleaser, or think, what can I do? How can I go above and beyond? And only more recently, my partner said this to me. It was so, so powerful. And he said, I don't really like many people. Well, to say that to the most people-pleasing kind of happy, let's connect person was like, huh? And he was like, yeah. And a lot of people like him. He said, I don't really like that many people. And I just thought, that is so powerful. Well, do I like that person that much? I'm focusing so much on what? Do you like me? Or what do you think
sure
of me?
Like you,
oh gosh.
Rather than do I actually like them?
Do I like their values?
Yeah.
What are my thoughts on what they're saying, actually? And I had never made my voice the louder voice. Everyone else's voice was the louder voice. And I think that's slowly changing. And we're talking recently, this is recent years. And that's why I'm at a point personally where, and I'd, be super tactful and all of that stuff. That goes without saying, and respectful. But actually, it's just a disservice to myself to not be open, because why would I have had all of these things happen and never be able to share it? And in doing so, I've had so many people, not just women, just so many people like, oh my gosh, I can relate to that. Oh my gosh, my regional accent. Yeah. I'm so proud of it, actually. I think, no, this has shaped me to where I am, and we've created something that I'm really proud of, both business-wise and personally. And I'm so passionate about the impact that all of these things are having, and I'm really passionate to continue to build that.
You know that people-pleasing bit? I mean, it's going to be rooted, certainly for both of us, deeper than the recruitment industry, right?
Yeah.
But I think I've thought about this. Because when you join the recruitment industry, every contact,
every interaction
is a deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you are, especially where we came from, right? You have got to close every deal.
Yeah.
And you can't turn away business. Yeah. Now, I'm really happy that I only work with businesses that I align with on a purpose level.
Yeah.
And I only work with people that I actually like.
And
don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there that might look at that and think that's a really wanky comment, right? And I get it. But what I mean is, I want to be me at work, right? And I've worked bloody hard to have the stable foundation blocks in life that give me the ability to say that. And I know there's people out there that don't, and I was once one of them. But now I've got them and I've worked hard for it. I can choose who I don't want to work with. And actually, I feel it really fatiguing now to be involved in conversations where I'm not interested. Yeah. I find it really fatiguing to have to sell into businesses where they're they're treating me badly.
Yeah.
You know, we've had that conversation
Yeah,
about the US and how they're making you feel.
Yeah.
So that to me, I and it came from me. I did a qualification in coaching, essentially, looking at cognitive diversity.
Nice.
Where you get your oxygen and where you don't. That's how it was described by the coach. And I realised, well, I don't get my oxygen from putting on like a facade, like a work mask.
You are not going to.
I find it terribly draining.
Yeah, it will be.
And when you realise that
Yeah.
and you can align, and that's something you and I talk about, and no doubt you'll echo this, the most sort of rewarding thing about owning your own business is that you can truly align your personal values with what you do and the values of your business.
And even locations. You know, I set up the premises. It is 7 minutes from my daughter's school because I'm determined that I'm going to do the school run every day. And I do, unless I'm travelling, which is rare. I do.
Love that.
And that's the truth. But I also, same as you, is like, I've worked so hard. I've done them, 16, 17-hour days.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still do.
Yeah.
You know, that's the truth of it. To go, no, I am going to do that, and I am going to make this work. And I always say this to my team, that this business, we work for the business, but this business works for us.
Yeah.
So whatever we're doing, we've got to gain what we're putting in. We've got to make sure that we're gaining it back. And that's not just for me, that is for my whole team. You know, that is so important, because what's the point?
Yeah.
This is hard work, right, as well. It's fantastic and really bloody hard at times as well, you know.
And the beauty and the beast of our sector is it doesn't matter how much experience you've got, you go through the good times and the bad.
Definitely.
You just learn how to handle the bad a little bit better, and we were having a chat about that off air, right? But I think in terms of, we look at the listeners might be, people that are thinking about starting their own business. They might have just started their own business. How would you talk to them through the lens of authenticity?
I would really encourage them to really speak about the things that matter to them. Things that can actually bring, whether it's advice or whether it's a shared opinion, or maybe not too controversial, but sometimes a little bit of controversy is a good thing as well, to have conversations started. But things that are important, that matter to them, is what I would share. You touched on it earlier. You don't actually need lots of clients. You don't actually need lots of incredible people around you. You need few where the relationships are deep, and the alignment is strong. And that is where and I know it's a bit of a, but that's where you kind of find your tribe or find your community or find, that is what you do need around you. We're not talking about a lot of people to shift that dial. And unless you're talking about the things that are important to you, or the things that you're wanting to do, or that you stand for, people will not know that. Like, that's the truth. They will not know that. And there is a bravery and a courage in it. It is not my forte. Like I said, I came from a house with closed curtains in every single room. It is not my forte to whack up a LinkedIn post every week with me as a picture, or go on, Instagram or different social media. It's actually quite anxiety inducing for me.
Yeah.
But I do it because I know, number one, quite honestly, it's a fantastic business development tool. It's as simple as that. Thousands of people will see it. Like, you might get one like, but trust me, hundreds or thousands are seeing it. And the second thing is that it's really showing what I stand for. And without sounding too deep, what you're doing professionally, there's got to be some purpose behind it.
Like,
what are we doing? Otherwise, you want to stand and look back at your career and say, oh yeah, I got a nice house and I got a nice car, that's fabulous, right? But what else did I really stand for? And I think that comes with time as well. But that's what personally I love to see, and that's definitely what echoes throughout my business as well. Even if some of my team members don't stand always on exactly the same things, the value alignment is the same,
Do you think it's liberating as well?
Massively.
Like, to Greg's point, like we talk about this a lot.
Massively.
Greg touched on it. When I left S3, and you can project a certain true version of yourself when you're employed in that envillment, but certainly in the corporate environment, it's top
within
down.
a Ken and a Barbie box, right?
You're within a framework, you can behave, but you can't go outside of that. And it can be quite oppressive, but I didn't really realise it until I stepped outside of that. And then Greg said, because I talk to him about this all the time, and I do talk about this a lot, the most rewarding thing for me was being able to leave that behind and actually project, just be me.
Be yourself.
And I'm the same as you two. I won't work with any client or any candidate that I don't want to work with, that I don't like. I'm the same as you. I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
pointing myself at some. I just can't get
You
motivated.
struggled to relate to that as well. When, before you started Hannison Green, we went for a few beers and stuff.
It's difficult to see on the other side.
Exactly, yeah.
But then when it's your own gig, it's just such a rewarding thing, isn't
But that's
it?
the actual value as well. That's not like this is numbers. We talked about, a production kind of book, which we understand on a much bigger scale. But the beauty when you have a smaller business that's not billions of dollars business, the truth of the matter is can I actually bring these individuals value? Like, how do I actually bring real value? Because where there's value, there's profit. That is the reality. So if you're already good at something, you're doing something great, the money will come anyway. And I think sometimes the model has been focused on the chasing of the money, which is fine. I understand why as well. And we've all been there. Maybe over where I'm actually bringing fantastic value.
Chasing the money, but like you said, like you can't turn business down.
Yeah,
like if you're doing it on, if you're handing over your time to get paid for that as an employee.
Yeah, targets are too high.
And there's money to be made for your employer.
And you got to do
You can't
it.
turn business away.
We've actually just, in my business, I won't name them, of course, but we've just walked away from a client that's been a client of ours for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Sat down, with Miriam and whatnot. It just wasn't working. And do you know what?
I bet it felt good though, right?
It felt good for them as well.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
So we've not said we're never going to work together. What we've done is over the last sort of 3 or 4 months, that we've been working with them in a part of their business that the people that I know at the very top had asked us to work in with a team, like the internal team.
Yeah.
So they've facilitated that and they've been lovely and we've done our best to facilitate it. But actually, it doesn't need us both in that space.
Okay.
And we were trying to make them happy, them trying to make us happy. And ultimately, we've not made loads of money and placements and given loads of value. And actually, they're getting no additional value by having us around. And it's not that we're crap at a job or they're being unreasonable. So we've just actually had a chat and we've gone,
honest
do you know what?
conversation.
You're sort of scared to tell the exec directors that you're not going to work with us. And we're kind of scared to go to the exec director and say, this kind of isn't working.
Yeah.
Actually, we've just had it out. And I love that.
Beautiful.
We were really authentic to each other. So the relationship is still there. We're still going to work together, but just not in this area of their business where we're kind of pseudo competing, as it were.
Yeah.
And I would never have had that conversation myself with a client. Like,
How great's the outcome there?
Yeah,
Brilliant,
it's
isn't it?
proper
do you know what?
value add, right?
It's amazing.
the right thing.
It's the right thing.
It's the right thing for everyone involved.
Correct. And we've sort of, both parties have gone, do you know what? It was a 30-minute meeting in the diary, Teams meeting, that I was a little bit apprehensive. So were 2 other directors in my business. We were like, how do we actually articulate to a FTSE 100 client, right, that we've worked with for 5 years, that we think we should stop working together in this area, but actually try and preserve the relationship.
Yeah.
But we did it. And do you know what? They were relieved. And it was just beautiful.
But those are the conversations that gain respect.
Yeah.
That's when you go in, everything, it's how do we operate at this same level? Because both of you have actually got the same objective. Yeah, there might be different outcomes, right, for different businesses. But the objective is we need to hire a fantastic team. We want to hit X and Y target and we can be the solution. So how do we both meet right here?
Yeah.
And that is like a beautiful example.
It really worked. And obviously I won't go into any more detail, but it was just a brilliant meeting. And I couldn't tell you when I've had a brilliant meeting where I've come off it with less work than I went in with. Do you know what I mean? Like we're bred to win work, close the deal. But I've come off a call with a big client with less work than I went on with. But it was the right thing. And that to me in my business, that's me being authentic. That's us being authentic as a supplier.
And I think it's authentic. And I think something that's looped into this is courageous as well. There's courage. There's courage in being authentic, but there's courage in them kind of conversations. And actually, for me, it kind of all goes into that same sphere. Yeah. And I think to be successful in our industry, especially at this time, there is courage that is needed.
Yes.
So whether that's being vocal or whether that's speaking more truly to yourself, whether that's having very difficult conversations and walking away from business, which actually I suspect will come back tenfold in the right areas for both of you, which makes sense. But there is this courage that is needed, and that's back into that authenticity piece as well.
Yeah. Where does your courage come from then? Because, you know, you're somebody that I've known for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And I remember me and Steve asking you to talk at the AGM.
Yes.
For the first time.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
It was only in front of about 70, 80 people, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
Like me and Steve, remember when we had to host the AGMs in the brand, and we asked you, I remember how nervous you were.
Terribly nervous.
But I remember how everybody was around you after that.
Yeah.
Like,
I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that memory
But then you've
back
gone
to
from
me.
that, and that took a lot of courage for you to do that.
Huge.
To leave S3, you set up your own gig with...
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now. That didn't quite work out, did it?
Yeah.
And then next thing...
He must not be named.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, there was a little shareholding in that, but this was the proper one.
But then to see you on the final of The Apprentice, and I remember watching you, you know, that final when you walk down, you're no better
the
than
stairs.
me watching it.
Yeah.
You walk down those stairs into that massive, intimidating
auditorium.
room of
Yeah.
like very important people, investors, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And you have to present to them, like, man, how have you gone from like talking at an AGM?
Yeah.
Only a handful of years previous to
Only
doing
a handful,
that, and now it's a commercial business for you. You're getting
is.
paid to talk at events.
Yeah, it's another business that
Where does that courage come from? Is that you know, is it authenticity driving courage, or is it courage driving authenticity?
Oh, I love that. I love
Great
that.
question,
Oh,
that
it's a
is.
fantastic
I'm glad she's having to answer that.
Yeah, fantastic question.
That's the right question.
I would actually say it's authenticity driving courage. And I'd say, and I always say this, I was naughty at school, I was naughty at home, right? So I ended up in youth supported accommodation in trouble at school. But that is because I was a leader. So I say to my children, but it's the truth. If they get a bit in trouble at school, I quite like it because I think, good,
Yeah,
you're thinking a bit outside the box. I don't mind that. Like, you got to get good grades, but I don't mind it because you got to push the boundaries. So I'm always somebody that has pushed the boundaries. Now, that pushing the boundaries has gotten me in trouble. And sometimes the risks have caused a lot of trauma, right?
Yeah.
But actually, I'm always had that kind of streak to me. But what I do now is definitely apply that to a business kind of sense. And it's like, how do I push it? And I actually think I get stage fright. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing to say. PJ will tell you, who was hosting an event that I was at recently as another board member. I went and did a keynote at the Chamber. I don't even know how I got up on the stage. I get so nervous beforehand. I'm having to have this little bit of chitter chatter, which it's not my forte particularly anyway. I can do it, but you know, and then I get up and and the adrenaline just takes over because I think the power of what I'm trying to achieve and my messaging and how passionate I feel about it is so deep rooted inside. I can't not do it. It would be like a disservice to myself, you know. And I think I've been given, you know, and I have a lot of faith, like I've been given these amazing opportunities, and how can I not stand and step up into them? Because I remember so clearly when I had the oven on my back because I was so cold, handwriting the applications. That is who I actually am. So, you know,
so because this a lot of people will relate to this, right? If you asked, I don't know, 100 people or 1,000 people what their number one fear is professionally,
it's public speaking.
It would be public speaking, right? By a landslide, I imagine.
Yeah.
So, you know, for anybody that's listening that doesn't lean into that and turns down speaking opportunities or just avoids and makes excuses, and I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you use that little moment in the past? So just before you're about to get on stage, you just take yourself back to that moment where the oven's on your back and you're like...
Yeah, or worse, actually. I've had other circumstances which were definitely more traumatic than an oven. And that's why I think if I can get through that, then I can stand up on this stage. And I've been given this opportunity to do so. And I always say, before I go on to something, right, Scarlett, whatever you say, like, please, can I impact the people that are in that room? But what I'm going to say, I really hope it's of impact and value to the people in the room.
Right. So rather than worrying about yourself, you try and put it onto the audience.
How can I
on the value?
Impact, and bring value to the people that are in that room.
Yeah, somebody said something to me, and it stuck with me on a very, different sort of level. But they said, you can't get nervous about something you don't care about.
Yeah.
And that's something whether it was two things for me. I learned that, and not a lot of people know this, right? But I used to play a lot of piano, and I remember performing, and there was not that many people, but there was a good few people out there, and it was freezing in the venue, right? And I was really nervous. I was playing a really complicated piece of music that half of it I couldn't really remember. And there was an ex-professional pianist in there, and she said, look, the reason you're nervous is because you care about the outcome.
100%.
You can't get nervous about something you don't care about. And that, I think I was about 16, 17 when she said that to me. And then the bigger football games I played in, I always used to think, can't get nervous. Yeah. And that was the way I looked at it, and that's what you're sort of...
It is 100% that. When I say, because I know it's the pictures look great and the speeches and the people are coming up to you, and it's oh, wow. I don't know how I get on the stage. I genuinely think I have stage fright. I'm not even exaggerating. Podcasts, I'm very comfortable because it's a small amount of people. Yeah. But when there's lots of people and you are just on the stage and you've got to speak for 15 or 20 minutes, that is a bloody intimidating thing. Yeah. And you're speaking about your story. Well, that can bring up all sorts of different emotions and trauma for people or not. It depends. There's a lot that goes into that. And I just can't quite believe that people want to hear it. I'm so humbled, but you're huh? And they're I'm so inspired. And I'm really? It's just been such a... And what I really did and what happened was I bought a house that basically I had to knock down and rebuild. I'm 3 years into this renovation, which is going really well, by the way, everyone. Check it out. So if anyone wants to, donate any tiles, let me know. But no, that's what happened.
What colour are you after?
Any at this point? No, no. I'll show you the Pinterest boards. But I started to build this house, and basically out of blind faith, another courageous move. And I was like, right, no, I can just feel I'm meant to have this house. And if I'm the one that gets accepted for it, I'm going to get it. So I went to the max out of my budget. It's just me, 2 children and a business. No one's going to come and help me, and I maxed out my budget. When I got this house, there was multiple developers that wanted to, 'cause it's on a very big piece of land. And the woman was like, I knew it was meant to be you. She had it for 42 years before. She's passed away now. And she was like, I knew it was meant to be you. I just felt it. My offer was £60,000 under the other one because the estate agent had copied me in by accident so I could see one of the other offers. I still got it, and I went in with no budget. None. No budget at all, right? Yeah. And in that time, I found this budget to develop this house whilst paying for an apartment for me and my children, because you can't live there. There was no running water, or there was no roof properly on there. It's crazy stuff, right? But I just knew that I could do it. And what happened, and circling back, was I obviously had Harper Fox partners, but I've got a team, I've got investors. It's not always straightforward taking money properly out of the business, right? There's a path to this. Yeah. I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I get asked to speak all the time. I'm going to set up this speaking business, and my speaking business, 100% of that is profit, because it's just me going out. It'll pay for my house. And that's what I did. And that's why then... Scarlett Lily. And that's why then I thought, right, I've set myself this target in the last 12 months, which I smashed in about 3 months. I don't know how. And then I had to go on the stages and speak because... I got my builder, Ben, and I got to pay Ben. Yeah. And I'm thinking, if not, I won't have any windows, and my girls are planning their bedrooms.
All of your stories link back to that. You create this accountability for yourself, don't you?
Yeah. That's what happened. And I don't think I ever would have got
into a position where there's only one option.
My back's against the wall, and I'm going to come out fighting, And so that's why I'm on them stages. And I'm like, I've got to do really well because I'm getting paid. I'm thinking, am I even good enough to get paid? What the hell? And now I'm like, no, I'm this amount. No, I'm this. And I've had them conversations because it's coming from a place of, I'm not trying to be greedy or anything. It's that my children want this house.
Ben doesn't care about whether you got stage fright or not.
And nor do my children.
Yeah.
And I haven't got time for stage fright.
Ben's kids don't care about your stage fright because he needs his invoice paid.
But it's the truth, right? And it's been getting really, really uncomfortable. And that does link back to the courage. It links back to the authenticity. It links back to starting up a business. How many years have we all talked about working for ourselves prior to do it? I did from about 15. You know, that's the truth. But then it was like, no, I'm going to do it. My back's against the wall. I'm going to make it happen. And it has been that theme constantly throughout my life.
And I think if we sort of like frame this conversation as we bring this episode to a close, you know, that authenticity and that courage, they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so for those people out there that are thinking about starting their own business, or they're in a small business and wondering, well, how am I going to survive? You know, you got to be authentic. You've got to have a message that is a representation of you that you can stand behind, and, you know.
And just get really uncomfortable. Fail quickly. You should be failing. If you're not, then you are not pushing yourself enough.
Well, you've inspired me to do my loft conversion now.
We got set up a speaking business.
I'm not sure about that.
Sell them suits.
No, but I got 3 quotes for a loft conversion about a year ago. And I've been frightened to pull the plug on it, so I'm not sure I can. It's a good wedge of money.
Do it. Yeah, it will be. Speak to Ben.
I keep saying to Emma, I'm like, I can't afford to do it just yet, because I'm waiting to have a certain amount of money.
Yeah. Of course you are.
I'm just going to pull the trigger.
Do you know what's funny? But my old man had a quote
halfway through.
He used to say to me, he said, so like when I've done some similar stuff to you, made myself really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And my dad always said to me, he said, like, don't be like me and your mum. Because we always saved for a rainy day, and it never pissed it down.
Yeah.
He said, and I've got so many regrets about why we didn't do that house, or why we didn't move, or why we didn't do this or that.
Yeah, it's
He's
safe.
like, don't be.
Safe.
Yeah.
And I think safe's a bit bloody boring as well.
It is boring.
But we don't live in a safe time now in terms of economically. You've got to be on it. You've got to
pivot.
Yeah,
We've just been taught, even our whole industry, you've got to pivot, you know. So.
Steady away at winning the race.
Take risks, that's where the magic happens, isn't it?
Take risks.
Yeah.
Take risks and back yourself.
Yeah, Scarlett, you are a superstar. Thanks for coming on our pod. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure too. Thank you.
Yeah,
so
we need to
much.
hang out more. Don't we?
I would love that. We'll start the loft injection.
Let's do it. We'll do it ourselves.
Let's go. I've got an hour now.
Get Ben round. There we go.
Cheers, Scarlett. Catch you
Thank
soon.
you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Recruitment Founders Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on your favourite podcast platform or YouTube so you never miss an episode. Connect with us on LinkedIn to join our community of founders and mentors, or visit our website to learn more about how we can help you launch, grow, and thrive in your recruitment business.